the dark side.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, KrazyCries Gaming, and today I'm excited because we're going to play an interactive game that is, the plot will change based on the choices you make, and there's 5 chapters. So today we're going to do chapter 1, and there's a little disclaimer. It says enjoy and choose wisely. So let's get right into this game. It's called Buried. It's on Steam, and let's try it out. First time playing, so here we go. I like it. I like the graphics. I open my eyes, and the first thing I want to do is scream. I'm flat on my back, and everything seems to hurt. The trees overhead look familiar. It's a clear night sky, almost beautiful, except for the fact this means I've been out cold for at least 6 hours. But there's something wrong. I don't remember what, but something happened, and my head hurts, and a ringing in my ears. Was there an accident? An explosion, I think. I remember Dennis screaming, but after that, I can't remember. As I sit up, I notice that my hard hat has been thrown off. I look around the area, but it's not here. It feels strange to go out without my hard hat. But I've got to find the other members of the crew. They could be in danger. So, what should we do? Should we search for a stinking hard hat? Or should we say forget the hat and search for the crew? So this could be a trick. Or, you know, what if I need the hat to actually find the crew, or I'm gonna get hit in the head? But you gotta go with human lives first. Forget the hat, search for the crew. I decide my hat can wait until I figure out what's going on. I get up and take a look around the logging site. I smell something burning and don't hear any engines running. Wait, something isn't right. Was it the bulldozer? Maybe the thing overheated for the last time. Maybe the engine finally blew. What a mess. Well, maybe I'm jumping to conclusions. Only one way to find out, I guess. I walk over to the center of the logging site and don't like what I see. Can't wait for what we see next. That's not good. The logging site looks like a bomb was detonated right in the center. I don't know where to start. The one load we had managed to stack on a truck for the last day is overturned. The trailer bent and the logs hanging off the back. Where the is everyone? My head is killing me, and this ringing in my ears, I can't hear anything. Not birds, not my footsteps, nothing. It makes me wonder if I hit my head after my hard hat flew off. I run through a quick mental checklist to make sure my brain is still working. My name is Roger Hastings. I'm 41 years old. The year is 2017. I own a small logging company, and we've been logging in this strip of Kentucky woodland for almost a month now. Okay, so my brain works. That's a relief, but it also makes me fearful, because something is certainly not right here. I look around the logging site, my mind trying to figure out what has happened. Just about every piece of equipment has been overturned or tilted. Now my choice, look at debris or look at the truck. I ain't going nowhere near that truck. Or do I? Do I look at the debris? I wonder what you guys would do in this situation. Put that down in the comments, because it looks like that's going to collapse. Let's look at the debris. There are bits of debris everywhere. There are fragments of the 5-gallon bucket I keep our work rags in, a loose saw chain, and an overturned gas canister. Had there been an explosion? All of the fuel in the site would have started a fire, but there's no charring, no burning, nothing. I walked through the area where Dennis had been working. From the looks of it, he'd been moving slowly. He'd only taken down 4 trees today. His metal lunchbox is open and indicated that he had been taking an early break. Naughty, naughty. But he's not here. No one is here. Where the is everyone? I could try to make a call on my cell phone, but its battery is already running really low. Not that it matters. The reception is crap out here. Okay, so if I got a low battery, I'm gonna take a chance on making that one call. So, I mean, before it dies. I pull out my cell and try to make a call to Frank. It rings and rings and then just goes to his voicemail. But before I can leave a message, my phone goes dead. Great. I hope I don't need my phone anytime soon. Might as well start walking. The highway is almost a mile back through the woods, down the gravel road we used to reach the site. Maybe the crew ran that way for help. But why would they have left me? Were they scared? Out of sorts? Maybe I can catch up to them, but with my truck turned over on its side, it looks like I'll be walking. My God, I can't even remember what I was doing before waking up on my back. Wait, what's that underneath the bulldozer? It's a leg. It has to be either Tony or Dennis. The dozer looks unstable, like it might roll some more. Might not be safe to get close, but at the same time, I can't just leave him there. I'm going. Hey, I yell. Are you okay? Are you alive? I skip over the stray logs and wrecked equipment to get closer. Seeing the dozer teeter makes me think maybe I should have grabbed my hat. I can see a bit more of the leg. The jeans are soaked in blood. I recognize the work boots. It's clearly Tony. His leg is bent at an impossible angle, nearly crushed flat. The closer I get, the more apparent it becomes that Tony didn't survive. Pull the body out or leave the body alone. I try to pull him out, but he's not budging. That's when I see the blood coating the ground near under him. It's thick and fresh, so dark on the dirt that it looks black. As I'm tugging, I hear something crunch, but I somehow manage to pull him out. His legs are absolutely crushed, and his stomach looks deflated. Blood is covering everything from the navel down. That's pretty creepy. His face was turned to the right when he was crushed. It looks like a broken plastic mask, seeping with blood and bits of shattered skull. I can't believe this. I have to turn away. That's when I hear a deafening creaking noise, and I'm bashed in the head from behind as the bulldozer shifts lower to the ground. I roll clear and end up on my back, my eyes shut tight from grimacing. My head is exploding with pain, and I feel a stream of warm blood. Why wasn't I wearing my hard hat? That's all I can think over and over, but it doesn't make the pain any less. After writhing for a few minutes, I finally pull myself up off the ground. I can't stay here. I have to find Dennis, Frank, and Joe. I have to find out what happened here. As I walk through the stacks of logs from the last week of work, everything feels frozen. This high-pitched sound in my ears is terrible. It keeps happening every few seconds, and it sounds like it's coming from far away. I can't help but wonder, is it my ears or is it something else? The silence out here is creepy, and there's a smell like the atmosphere after a bad summer storm. I might as well admit it. I'm a little scared. Everyone is missing and it's dead quiet out here. There doesn't even seem to be a breeze to rustle the leaves and branches. My right knee hurts like heck. My head was hurting so bad before that, I never even noticed the pain in my knee. I must have heard it during the During the what? Accident? Or... Wait, is that Dennis? I see him sitting on the ground, motionless, about 30 feet away. Yell out or walk up. What to do, ladies and gentlemen? You know what? We're gonna walk up on him. He's just sitting there, not moving. I walk up slowly next to him. Dennis, hey man, can you hear me? I tap him on the shoulder. He looks up at me from the ground, clearly coming out of a daze. Yeah, Roger, I hear you, he says. Dennis is built like a wrestler and has the tough personality to match. But in this moment, he looks disoriented and even a little anxious. Though I'm glad to see him, the fear on his usually confident face is alarming. What the heck happened? What's going on? He asks. Don't know, the crew is missing, or an explosion, I think. It's probably not an explosion. Missing? Dennis says. Where do you think they went? I'm not sure, I say, but it has me pretty freaked out. Something's not right here. Still sitting on the ground, he looks around the woods as if he is just now understanding the severity of the situation. The equipment was overturned, the dozers too, I say, wiping my forehead. You okay? I ask him. Yeah, just shaken up. Me too. This might be the most intimate conversation Dennis and I have ever had. While he and I have always been on good terms, we've never been particularly close. I've always respected him, though. Sure, he's come to work a few times looking like he'd been in a bar fight the night before, but I've also seen him do an enthusiastic impression of a dinosaur as he played with Tony's kids while they waited for their dad to finish up his shift. It's then that it hits me. Dennis and Tony were good friends. I'm not sure I want to rattle him with news of Tony's death right now. Not before we know what's going on. But he has a right to know. Gotta tell him. You were up front with Dennis about Tony. Dennis's eyes fixate on me, startled. He was crushed under the dozer, I say. Dennis pauses for a moment, like he's trying to understand what I said. His eyes narrow and his bottom lip quivers. And I could tell he's fighting back tears. He and Tony had been tight, almost like brothers. Hey, he adds quickly, as if trying to escape the reality of Tony's death. Did you see that light? No, I say. What did you see? I don't even know, Roger, he says. It was like this flare of white light. It came right up out of the ground like an explosion. So there was an explosion, I say. Maybe it was some equipment or... This was no equipment, Dennis interrupts, agitated. This huge ball of light came right out of the ground. Okay, so what did it look like, or where did it go? Let's go with what did it look like. Like looking into the sun, he says. It just feels like someone stabbed me in the eyes with a hot knife. When? I'm not sure, he answers, but I had finished about 10 trees for the day and was about to top one. That's when it happened. You were almost done with 10 trees, I ask. Yeah, he says, looking at the ground. You know, I wouldn't want to take a lunch break until I was done. And that's when the light blew up. Why, you don't believe me? I think 10 trees is a little too much. I believe you. He saw what he saw, I think to myself. He has no reason to lie about this. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, he says, but if I'm being honest, it scared me pretty bad. And if it's all the same to you, I'd like to get the heck out of here. We both stand up and start heading towards the road. It isn't until we start moving that I see Dennis is wounded. His right side is coated in blood, the red seeping through his blue work shirt. There are splatters of it here and there, but also a very large red splotch that makes me wary. How'd you get that injury, or are you in a lot of pain? Well, obviously he's probably in pain, so we'll go with how'd you get that injury. I'm not sure, Dennis replies. I must have gotten thrown or hurt somehow from that light. It's then that I notice that the strange ringing noise is still filling the air. Hey, I say, stopping, do you hear that high-pitched ringing noise every once in a while? Dennis looks scared when I ask him this question and just nods. I thought it was just me, he says. He looks out of sorts and uncertain. I've never seen him like this before. It's obvious that he's looking for some reassurance. Even though I'm his boss, there's something very unnerving about this. Well, it's probably not nothing. After all of what we've seen and heard, it's freaking me out. I'm sure I sound scared, but I don't really care. I look to Dennis and see that my confusion and fear have seeped into him, and is that disappointment in his expression as well? I think so. It's as if he expects me to be stronger, to assure him that we're fine and nothing out of the ordinary is happening. We both start moving forward and don't say another word. Did you try to call Frank? Dennis asks. I know he had his cell on him today. I can't, I say, cursing myself. I used up my battery trying to call you earlier. It's then that I notice something that makes me stop. A 10-foot wide hole in the ground. But there's no stray piles of removed dirt or rocks. It's clean, smoothly dug, cutting into the earth, wide but only a few feet deep. It looks unnatural, like the ground was just deleted. No shovels or diggers used. Dennis walks over to it. This looks like the same kind of hole where I saw that light come from the ground, he muses to himself. I say nothing. My mind is spinning, but I don't know what to think. We need to get out of here, Dennis mutters. At that moment, that ringing noise carries through the forest again, sending a shiver down my spine. Dennis is right. There's something strange going on, and we might not be safe here, but that ringing sound could be a clue to where the rest of the crew went. You know what? Let's man up and go check out the sound. You decided to check out the sound. Something's not right, I say, and if there's a mechanical noise like that, you think someone is out here, he asks? Maybe. I think we should at least check it out. They might be able to help. Yeah. You go right ahead, he says with a grin. I'll be here waiting for you. Better hurry, though. Dennis doesn't look like he's in the best shape to be trouncing around the forest, but we need some answers right away, too. Alright, so we're going to leave Dennis here. I've already crushed his spirits. I think I've made a lot of bad decisions. You decide to leave Dennis behind. Okay, I'll go alone, I say. You stay here and try to hang on. I'll try and find someone, anyone. I give Dennis a final look, sensing that this could be a big mistake. He's looking at me like he's terrified of me now, making a moan in his throat. I turn away and start moving through the woods quickly. With Dennis all alone, I need to find the crew and get help right away. Every tree out here looks exactly the same. I grew up in the country and can find my way around the forest without much of a problem, but I'm starting to feel a little disoriented. I'm leaning against a tree when I see something that has no business being here. Our logging crew has been out here for 3 weeks, and it seems impossible that we could have missed it. What could it be? Oh wow. Let's enter. It's a small building, sort of like a mixture of a shack and a bunker. It looks to be made of concrete, but moss, weeds, and plain old erosion also make it look sort of mystical. It looks like something out of a demented version of a medieval fantasy movie. Part of me wants to go back for Dennis. Seeing this eerie building in the middle of nowhere makes me yearn for company. It makes me feel like a little kid that is spooked of that old abandoned house at the end of the street. Plus that ringing noise that happens every once in a while. I think it's coming from this building. I'm racking my brain, trying to remember if I've seen this before, but I haven't. I'm sure of it. It has never been here until now. Is Frank in there? Or Joe? They can't be. But then again, they aren't anywhere out here. Looking inside the building is certainly more appealing than walking through the woods for a mile with an aching knee. I find that I'm a little scared when I take my first few steps toward the building. The first thing I see is a sturdy metal door, closed shut. Well, we're going to force it open. We're not going to knock. I set my feet and get ready to push my way in. After holding my breath, I put my hand on the handle and thrust my shoulder into the door. But I immediately realized this wasn't necessary. The door opens easily, even though there is a lock that clicks as it opens. After catching myself, I turn to look at the lock. For some reason, it appears to lock from the outside. Is someone trying to keep somebody from leaving? Stretching out in front of me is a small interior to match the outside. The building is totally empty. There's a concrete floor and dinghy. Featureless walls. There are no windows, giving the place an even more isolated feel. Still, I hear the ringing noise coming from somewhere in here. It's louder now, more prominent. The interior seems confining at first, but a small set of concrete steps leads about 5 feet down, revealing a long corridor. Pretty good graphics, I like that. It's a massive corridor, in fact, like I'm in some kind of building underground. It seems to go on forever. This corridor is quite dark, lit only by emergency lights spaced every 10 feet or so. I assume I'm now underground because this corridor extends far beyond the limits of the building I entered. I realize that someone might not appreciate finding me here. Tiptoe quietly. I feel like a ghost. I truly have no business being here. I move slowly, my feet not making a sound. If anyone is in here, I want to make sure they don't hear me. I tiptoe forward as softly as I can. Just coming into view at the end of the hallway is another set of concrete stairs leading further down into the depths of the earth. I can still hear the ringing noise every so often coming from somewhere in here. I look ahead to the concrete stairs, wondering just how far they go. I approach the stairs, and as I take my first step down, I get the sense that I'm crossing some sort of line here. There may very well be no going back. It's nice textures in there. As I head down the stairs, I notice that they look aged. That ringing noise is somewhere below, louder than ever. I feel like I'm walking down into the cellar of a haunted house, the light becoming scarce as the stairs take a slight turn. I can feel the temperature drop. As I keep moving down the stairs, my mind seems to lock in on the unknown fate of the rest of my crew. Frank is married, and I've met his wife a few times, a nice woman with a huge laugh. My heart sags a bit when I realize I might never again get to hear him belting out classic rock tunes during lunch break. Joe, well, I don't know too much about him. He's 22 years old and is considering community college. His folks are deadbeats, so he has been providing for himself since the age of 16 or so. Out here in the woods, regardless of their background or ages, I'm responsible for them. Whether frequenting the local bar after a long day, or while away from their families on this risky job, I'm responsible for them. Maybe I can still find them, still get to hear Frank singing in his deep baritone voice after a few too many drinks. I slowly stick my foot out in search of the next step. I can't help feeling like a child as a very powerful fear seizes me. I'm expecting a monster to reach out of the darkness, slicing into my throat. After what feels like forever, we come to the bottom of the stairs. I'm closer to the source of the ringing noise now. A door sits securely in the wall and looks just as out of place down here as I feel. A sliver of light seeps through, illuminating the area. The door has what looks like a panel with lots of labels and lights. Small embossed print above the panel says, Level 01 Entrance Gate, Transport Sector, and there's a button with no label. Well, I would do both of these things, but I'm just going to go ahead and push the button. I give the button a push. One of the readings on the panel flickers to life. Outage. That's all it says, and then it goes dark. The panel looks like a diagnostic or alert system of some kind. Each label meant to communicate status. Lockdown engaged, experiment in progress, shutdown engaged. These all appear to be off, but one of the phrases has a slowly blinking red light next to it. The only powered light on this whole thing. Abnormal entity breach. What the heck? I slowly push the door open and more light pours in as I walk through. As I do, that ringing or beeping or whatever the heck it is gets a little louder. The door closes behind me with a click. At this moment I can't help but think about Dennis back up on the surface. Poor old Dennis. What is going on up there? Why did that bulldozer turn over? What was it that knocked us out? I hope I haven't left him in a dangerous situation. I'd been so preoccupied with my own fear that I nearly forgot about the ringing noise. It had just become background noise. I take a few more steps and now can now see where I am. It makes no sense. Yet another thing that simply seems out of place. The shape and muted colors of metal are easily to identify, but it just doesn't belong here. Well guys, we're going to have to stay tuned for chapter 2, because as you can see we have reached chapter 1. I can't wait to see what it is. Alright guys, let's look at my decision making skills. On chapter 1, Respect the Dead, you and 64% of players pulled Tony's body out from under the bulldozer. So I was in the top percentile there. Secrets, you and 76% of players were upfront with Dennis about Tony's death. So I was good there. Trust, you and 55% told Dennis you believed his story. It's kind of, I was in the top, but that's kind of an iffy one. 50-50 almost there. Curiosity, you and 75% of players went to investigate the ringing sound. Who wouldn't? Teamwork, you and 36% of players decided to leave Dennis behind. Poor old Dennis, and we are some scumbags in that 36%. Alright, so like I said, stay tuned for chapter 2. It's coming soon. So guys, if you enjoyed that, please give me the thumbs up, subscribe, share to your friends, and comment down below some of your decisions that you would have made that I didn't make, or what you would have done. Thanks for watching, everybody, and like I said before, stay tuned for chapter 2. I wish everybody all the happiest gaming experience is ever. Bye bye.